Okay, good morning once again. We are continuing with our lesson on YouTube. We are already through with some of the topics. Today we are going to talk about office personnel. Office personnel. Actually, in your syllabus, you will not see that there. You will not see office personnel. But as a business student, you should know that when you go to offices, who are the persons there? And that's what we are going to do. So we'll be looking at these personnel in offices. The office manager, you look at the office supervisor or supervisors, you look at the secretaries, you look at clerks. Remember here, this one I said clerks. Then we look at the receptionists. Then we look at messengers. So we are going to start with the office manager. Today we are going to do it in a special way. Somebody is going to be involved. Somebody is going to read. It's a very simple, straightforward thing, so we don't need to waste time on. So somebody is going to read. So now, Grace, you should start. When we say office manager, who are we talking about? Now, when you go to a particular office, they say office manager. They may not mention the term office manager. They may have other terms. Let me give you a typical example. In school, you know there's a particular office we call the general office. When you go, there are category of workers there. One of them is the manager there. But when you go, they don't call the person the manager of that office. They say the administrative officer or administrator. Apart from that one, there are other personnel that he, or in your case, she works with. And that is what we are looking at. So, Grace, let's start.
The office manager. The title office manager may be different from one organization to another. The person in charge may be called an administrative officer. The office manager is the supervisor in charge of an office. He or she may not necessarily be a top management policymaker.
So, stop. So, remember, when you say the office manager, it is not like the person is holding a top or middle or probably even lower level management position. But in that particular office, the person is the one who minds the affairs there. So the person may not necessarily be part of the management, but that particular office, the administrative officer is the one that is in charge of that office. So note that one. Let's continue.
He or she may be an administrator who manages his office by implementing top management policies that affect his or her department. The office manager is thus seen as a person who is in charge of an office and has clerical duties, including a host of junior office workers such as secretary, typists, filing clerks, mail clerks, account clerks, receptionists, and messengers working under his or her supervision.
Now, she was mentioning some personnel who work in that particular office. And we'll be looking at clerks. For example, she said male clerk. Male. So, who goes to the, when you come to the school, who goes to the post office to post letters? Who brings the letters? That would be the male clerk. Now, if you are looking at posting clerk, you are accounting students. So, accounting, you make postings. You make postings. After preparing your trial balance and this and that, you make postings. So that's what they are talking about. So posting clerk and so on and so forth. Let's continue.
The specific duties of the office manager.
Now we are looking at the duties of office manager. The duties of office manager. Let's continue. The duties of the office manager. 1.
Instructions.
The office manager gives instructions and directives. 2.
Train senior staff on office procedure.
3.
Maintains cordial relation
between
among all personnel working under him.
So there should be good relationship among the personnel. They should not be fighting among themselves. Continue.
Ensures giving work to the qualified personnel.
Next.
Creates link between his or her department and others.
Now, if you had been in school, I would have asked you, if you are creating link, what does that mean? That is the function that we call coordination. We have learned that one. Next.
Grievance and dispute handling.
So he handles grievances and the disputes. If employees have some issues that worry them, they channel that or those grievances to the office manager, who also channel them to appropriate quarters or appropriate place. And if there is any dispute among the workers or between a worker and another worker, he or she sees to the settlement of disputes. Continue.
He or she ensures that the welfare of his staff is properly taken care of.
So in your book 3, you'll be talking about welfare. So apart from their salary, there are other things that they are supposed to be given. It's the duty of the office supervisor to see to it that they are given such benefits. Where it is even possible for the organization to give them lunch, that will be part of the welfare. Where they are supposed to be given accommodation, that will be part of their welfare, and so on and so forth. Next.
He or she maintains a good system of discipline procedures capable of making staff conform to rules and regulations. If you
allow workers to do whatever they want to do, then there will be problems. So you put down disciplinary issues, disciplinary measures. If somebody goes contrary to the rules, what happens? If you come to work late, or anytime you come, you are supposed to sign something. The time you came, before you do A or B, the office manager will put down all those things in order to check those who are not doing the right thing. Continue.
The qualifications or qualities of an office manager.
Now, to be an office manager, you must have or you should have these qualifications or you should have these qualities. The first one, very simple, straightforward, is
he or she must have a good general education with a professional qualification in administration or management studies.
You are an administrator. You are managing office. So you must have or you should have professional qualification in administration. And then the general or broad education, that's the one you have at SHS level. When you even go to university, you may have broad education and learn some other things. You may be doing a particular course, but you learn other things, the liberals and other stuff. Then, as an administrator, you can now learn administration as a profession, so that you know procedures, you know how things are done properly as an administrator. Next quality or qualification.
He or she must have knowledge of economical use of office machines and the planning and coordination of office procedures.
This is done so that you don't become wasteful. You don't waste resources in the organization. Next.
He or she must be a person of integrity and honesty.
When resources are entrusted to your care, can you be trusted? Do you use office materials for your personal use? When money is given to you, is it for your personal use? You're honest. You should be honest. Next.
He or she must be able to manage people with tact, kindliness, fairness, etc.
Now you are dealing with different kinds of people from different cultural background. from different ethnic groups. So you should be very careful of the things you say. For example, you mention a particular tribe, which I don't want to mention any, and then you say negative thing about it. So, as for assuming a tribe is called A, then you say, as for this tribe, they are like this. No, we don't do that one. Or as for you, so and so, then you mention a tribe, and you say this is how you are. Negative things. No, you should manage people with tact, and you should be firm. You don't allow them to take advantage of you. You should be firm. When somebody goes wrong and you are supposed to punish the person, if that's what the rule says, you should do that. You should not have favorites. That is what that point is talking about. Next.
He or she must be forward-looking and innovative.
You should be forward-looking. Forward-looking. When you say you are forward-looking, it means that you are able to look at the environment, changes that are going on in the environment. That's why it goes with innovative, so that you can bring changes in the organization. Where are you now? Where do you want to go to? That is forward-looking, and that enable you to bring changes, new things, new ideas into the organization. Continue.
He or she must be able to establish rapport with all categories of workers.
Now, the word rapport, remember, you have your book, and the word is not pronounced rapport. That's how some people they will say rapport. It is not rapport. Rapport. That is talking about good or cordial relationship. Cordial relationship. Next.
He or she must possess the ability to delegate.
So, as an office manager, you should have the ability to assign tasks to others. There are some people who don't know how to assign tasks to others, so they are not able to achieve the objective. So you must learn to know what to assign to whom, who has the ability to do what should be assigned to whom, and what should you do yourself. You should have the ability to do that. You cannot do everything yourself. You should give part of your work. You should give authority to people to do some of the things you are supposed to do, so that you can have time for a very important assignment. Carry on.
He must communicate well and be approachable.
Are your subordinates afraid of you, that they cannot come to you anytime they are in trouble? No, you should be approachable. You should be able to communicate well with them. And I think the democratic leadership style will help in this direction. If you are too autocratic, then there will be trouble. Carry on.
The office supervisor.
So now we are finished with the office manager. We are going to the second one. That is the office supervisor. The name tells you what the person does. Supervisor. Supervisor. So something the person supervises what? Continue.
The office supervisor, as the name implies, supervises the work of others who are under him or her. The office manager is his or her superior. In other words, he reports to the office manager. He or she mediates between the office manager and the clerical staff.
Now, so that is the picture you should know. The office manager is at the top. The other subordinates are down there. He's in the middle. So if you have any grievances, and that is supposed to go to management, then you tell the office manager. Then the office manager will now take it to the top. Now, when feedback comes, it is given to the supervisor, who also inform the clerks working under him. Next.
Duties of the supervisor.
1.
He or she instructs clerks as to what to do in order to achieve the goals of the organization.
Simple. 2.
He or she develops new methods of work in order to achieve efficiency.
Now remember, things change. The way you used to do things may, for example, at this time may not be working well. So there are delays. So you have to come out, and there's the office supervisor who will come out with new way of doing things efficiently. When there is efficiency, it means time will be saved. You'll be able to do more. We have learned about the concept of efficiency and effectiveness. So when you bring those changes, there will be efficiency. Next.
He or she distributes work to his subordinates.
Next.
He or she maintains good human relations between his staff and the office manager and among the staff.
Next.
Secretary.
So we have finished with the office supervisor. We are moving to the third person. Secretary. Now the secretary's position is very, very important in the organization. Remember, we have already learned about company secretary. That is not the one we are talking about here. Remember, we said the company secretary is a top management position. But here we are looking at the private secretaries of managers. That is what we are looking at. So when you go to an office, you see we are talking about the office manager is there. We have the supervisor there, and we are saying that the secretary is also there. So who is the secretary? What do they do? Let's continue.
Secretaries are employed to assist managers and senior clerks. They are mostly shorthand typists who are trustworthy in respect of confidential information entrusted to their care.
Now, take note, if you are a secretary, you should be trustworthy. Now, if I ask you to write, let's say, 10 words from the word secretary, I don't think you wouldn't write secret. Secret. So you see, you should be able to keep confidential matters. Confidential. Third party, you see, you interact with your boss. So if there is something that is not supposed to go out, you are not supposed to relate to third persons. So take note of that as a secretary. Continue.
Duties of secretaries.
1.
They draft routine letters on behalf of their superiors.
So you see, that is why if you are a secretary, or you want to become a secretary one day, you must have command over the English language. Your boss is not just going to write letter for you and then you will be asked to type. No. Your boss will tell you, we want to order so and so from so and so and so. Then you will draft the letter. After that, you go and show to the boss. You'll be checking your grammar and the structure of the letter you have written. So you draft routine letters on behalf of your boss. That is why we said that he assists. You see how he's assisting the boss. Next.
They receive dictation in shorthand and transcribe them on the typewriter or the computer. So
the secretary, if there is, let's say, any meeting ongoing, the secretary can use what we call shorthand. That shorthand is not the type that you do. Like this one. For example, you may say that when you do this, it means that. No, that is not that. Your own is a professional one. Or when you think you do this, it means you. No, that is not it. Their own, if you are in school, here we are doing business, the accounting option. Other schools, or even in the same schools, others will be doing the secretarial options. And then such ones, you are doing the accounting option, you are doing accounting management, elective maths or costing, and then economics. They'll be doing other subjects, including shorthand. So shorthand is also a subject. And their own, you can do something, if you have lines like this, you can do something like this, and it can be a whole phrase. a whole clause or whatever, they are taught how to do it. Because the secretary writes a lot. At the meeting, people will be talking and you have to write. So if you know how to do such a thing, then you can capture a lot during the meeting. Then he said, after that, assuming this one means among the men. Assuming, I said assuming, that is not among the men. That means this one will be transcribed from this to among the men. So that this one has not been transcribed. So that is what we are talking about. Yes, continue.
They also undertake receptionist duties.
Now, receptionists have their duty. We shall look at that one. Secretaries will also perform such duties. Now, in other words, some organizations may not be able to have a receptionist and a secretary. So if you're a secretary, they don't have a receptionist, then you'll be performing the duty of a receptionist, receiving calls and other things. Yeah, go.
He or she makes and keeps records of appointments for his or her boss.
Now, the secretary makes appointment. The secretary keeps appointment. What does that mean? What is that appointment? Somebody came to the office and the person wanted to see the manager. The manager was not there. The secretary will keep that record. When the manager comes, the secretary will inform the manager that so and so came here. Then the secretary can make appointment. The secretary knows the schedules of the manager. So the secretary can tell you that you should come here Wednesday at 2 p.m. Then the secretary will inform the boss that I have told this person to come here on this day at this time. So he makes appointment and then he keeps appointment. And he has to be making references so that anytime you know who is supposed to see the boss, you'll be reminding him, sir, today is the day that so and so and so will be coming at 1 so and so. So that is what they do. They make appointments and they keep appointments. Next.
They attend meetings and write minutes.
This is a very simple, straightforward point, which you know. Even in your class, you have secretary. Anytime you have a meeting, the secretary should write the proceedings. Whatever goes on in the meeting, the secretary should write the decisions you take. And it should be kept. And remember, minutes are always written. Carry on.
Taking care of the cash and bank transactions of the boss.
Now, the secretary takes care. Listen, the secretary takes care. Look at it.
Of the cash and bank transactions of the boss.
So cash and what?
Bank
transactions. Not cash. Listen, not cash. But cash transactions. You should take note of that. The secretary is not keeping cash, but cash transactions. You should know better than probably I do because you are doing accounting. So you know what is meant by cash transactions. You know what is meant by bank transactions. You have done the double entry system. So you know all these ones. So these transactions, which are documents will be kept by the secretary. So take note of that. It didn't say the secretary keeps cash, but cash transactions, the inflow, the outflow transactions, and then bank transactions. So that is that. Now continue.
Filing the boss' personal and business correspondence.
So the secretary does filing. So you keep those documents in files. Carry on.
Qualities of a secretary.
Now, if you are a secretary, we have talked about qualities of the office manager. So secretary, you must also have these qualities. Simple, straightforward. One.
He or she should be a good organizer.
You know what is organizing. So we say you are a good organizer. Remember, the secretary keeps records. You don't put things haphazardly. You come to your office, you want a particular thing, you are now searching. You don't know where what is. No, that means you are not a good secretary. Your boss needs something, you should know exactly where it is kept. You go straight to the place to bring it. So you should be a good organizer. Next.
He or she should be systematic to his or her approach.
So you don't do things haphazardly. You should do things in an orderly manner, systematically. Next.
He or she should be diplomatic.
You should be very careful the way you handle issues. Diplomacy should prevail in the way you handle, even the way you talk as a secretary. The way you talk. You should be very careful. Next.
He or she should be knowledgeable.
You should have so much knowledge on several issues. That is why one of the qualities is that you should have, as a secretary, you should have broad knowledge, broad education, general education. You should learn a lot before you have that profession as a secretary. Carry on.
Clerks.
So we are finished with the secretary. Now we are moving to clerks. Now, remember they said clerks. We are going to talk about clerks in general. We are not going to look at individuals like the mail clerk, the accounts clerk. No. The functions would tell us what that particular clerk does. The function of the clerk. So we are not going to generalize it. Not that we are going to pick them one after the other. So when you say clerk, now remember, when you say clerical duties, what are we talking about? What does it involve? So let's now continue. Clerks.
Clerks at the office perform clerical duties.
Okay.
The clerks include account clerk.
So we have account clerk,
filing
clerk, cost clerk, etc. So the name will tell you what they do. If you are an account clerk, if you are a filing clerk, and so forth. Let's continue.
Duties of the office clerk.
The duties of the office clerk.
They process income and outgoing mails.
So the first one is that, and look at it too, a particular clerk does this. A particular clerk. So the incoming mail and outgoing mails, that will be the mail clerk's duty. The mail clerk, mail. The posting of letters. If you are in school, there is somebody who goes to post office to post letters. The person brings letters, so incoming, letters that are coming in, correspondence that are coming in, outgoing, letters that the organization is also sending to outsiders, is the person, the one who processes them. And that is the mail clerk. Next.
They prepare invoice.
So if it is about invoice, you are accounting students. Who do you think will be preparing the invoice? Is it the filing clerk? Is it the mail clerk? No. Certainly the account clerk will be doing such a thing. Next.
They maintain up-to-date price list.
So who will be maintaining up-to-date price list? Price of our product. So that you know the current price. Customers will know our current price. If you ask how much does this product cost, you know, you should be able to relay that information to them. So once it's about price, where certainly is at the account. Carry on.
They prepare requisition for supplies.
So requisition, request. Now we'll be looking at documents that are used in internal trade. We will look at that one. And the costing students, you have even done that. You have done that. The procedure you follow in buying product. You order, you do this and all those things. So if you want something, you request for. So there's a form, requisition form. You prepare the requisition form, and then you issue it. Your boss, whoever is supposed to sign, signs, and then whatever you may need will be issued to you. So that is another duty. Carry on.
They file documents and sort records out.
So who will be doing that one? That will be the filing clerk. Next.
Receptionist.
So we are moving to receptionist. Now when you go to some organization, you know they call it front desk manager, front desk. The first person you have to see when you go, receptionist. Receive, receptionist. Please note this. When you go to any organization, avoid asking people, any person you meet, you ask the person a question. If you even ask a question, ask the person, please, where is the reception? So you go there and the receptionist is there. The person will receive you. And if you want whatever information you want, you ask the person. The person is knowledgeable in respect of, he or she knows the managers. Even if a manager had gone out, the person knows, because where the receptionist is positioned, he or she knows the movement of various managers, so she can tell you she has gone for break and so forth. So you need to see the receptionist. So now let's continue.
The receptionist is supposed to be the first person you should see whenever you enter any establishment.
Go.
Among other qualities, the receptionist should be courteous.
You should be courteous. There are some people, they don't even know how to talk to people. You have to talk politely. If you don't know how to do that, go and read Courtesy for Boys and Girls. Next,
respectful.
You have to be respectful.
And polite.
Yes, you should be polite. Carry on.
Duties.
Your duties.
He or she receives and directs visitors.
I've already told you this. Visitors will come, you receive visitors, and then you direct them. Okay, the visitor came and said he or she wanted to see the human resource manager. You direct the person to where the human resource manager is. That is it. You receive and you direct. Next.
They usually serve as telephone operators by directing incoming and outgoing calls.
Now, if you are in an organization, at the reception, they have the telephone there. If somebody makes call, at some organization, the manager will not receive the call directly. The receptionist will receive the call, and the various offices managers, they have their code. So you just call, and then the person will say, mention the name of the organization. Then you just tell the person whom you want to speak to. Or if you know the code, you say 014. The secretary knows, and the secretary will now link you, and you can talk with the person. So the person receives and direct calls. Carry on.
He or she receives routine information about the organization.
And then everything that you do every day, the receptionist knows it so much that whoever wants to know anything, the secretary, no, not the secretary, the receptionist. Remember, the receptionist and then the secretary, they perform similar duties. That's why we indicated that the secretary performs receptionist duties. So the receptionist should be able to give you information you want in the organization. Carry on.
He or she is the one who receives messages for officers who are not at post at the time of the call or when visitors arrive.
A call came, but the production manager was not there. The receptionist will receive it, and then when the person comes, then she will inform him or her. Carry on.
Messengers.
So, the messenger. Now let's hurry up.
They go on errands.
So they send them. Asma. Carry on.
They hand
deliver.
They hand deliver letters that are agent, circulars or reports.
So when there is any letter and it is urgent, that means they will give to the messenger. Then the messenger will go and deliver to the person.
They are often sent to the post office to post letter and collect letters.
Next.
They see to it that the office is tidy by cleaning and sweeping.
Next.
Qualities of office staff. Every office staff at the office must possess the following qualities of office staff.
Now, The office staff that we have talked about, all of them, they must have common qualities. Common qualities. So if you are an office staff, you must have these qualities. Number one,
a broad general education, at least up to senior secondary school level, with a good command of the English language.
So it's a very simple, straightforward point. Next.
He or she should always appear neat and modestly dressed.
So you don't bring mini skirts to the workplace to be frightening people. Next.
He or she should be healthy and smart.
You should be healthy and what? Smart. Not down. Next.
He or she must have a good sense of concentration.
So if you have trouble, you see, if you can't concentrate, you'll be making mistakes. You'll be making mistakes. So take note of that. Next.
He or she should be cheerful and punctual.
Yes. No, don't be frowning your face for people to be running away from you. You should always look cheerful. Remember, you represent the organization. So you represent the organization. So you should give the organization good image. So even if you are not happy at home, don't bring it to the workplace. If you are fighting with your husband, if you are fighting with your wife, don't bring it to the workplace. You should look cheerful. When you go home and you want to cry, then you have the right to cry there. So that is the point. Carry on.
He or she should be honest, loyal, ambitious, and reliable.
So you should be honest. Number one, you know what is meant by being honest. Honesty. Then the second one is what? Loyalty. Loyalty. Loyalty pays. Organizations can reward loyalty. Even MTN, at times I'll be there, then they will give me loyalty credit. They say, oh, I've been loyal for some time, since 2005, so they will be giving me some credit. You see, when you are loyal, it pays. Is that all? Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of office personnel. And that is how we decided to do it. Go through your notes and get it. Who they are, their functions. Till we meet again another time. Bye-bye.